Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
Yeah, and today we are
U.S. road laws. Road laws in the USA versus the UK. Subscribe. Good content. Preemptive like the link to the original video. Top the description. I just spilled water all over me when I was trying to drink from this. Wasn't smart. Should have drank from this. Those two Brits. Link. Did I say this? The link to the original video. Top the description. My name's Connor. If you're new, I like to watch things, learn stuff. Discord below the link to the original video. Would love to have you. Let's go. Road laws differences.
Hi, we're John and Leah, and today we are talking a bit about the road laws in the USA compared to the UK, all based on our experiences driving over there.
So as you guys will know, recently when we went to Orlando last year in November, and when we've been to
North
Carolina, we drove for the first time. Well, I drove.
I didn't drive.
You backseat drove.
Passenger drove, yeah.
She was so helpful.
Really?
You were like
I don't think I was helpful.
No, you're a good co-pilot.
I look back at some of the clips and I was like, Leah, that is not helpful. You should have stayed quiet. I was like, this is not helpful. This is inciting stress.
Yeah, well, no, sometimes it's stressful. Like, especially if we get things, like you get things wrong.
Yeah.
And we think different things, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, it would just be easier if I just did it wrong, and then but other times it is helpful.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, you know, when I have a panic, I'm like Leah, do I come off here or don't I? And then it's good to get a second opinion.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we've never been there.
We've never been there.
So we can forgive ourselves quickly. Like, you took one wrong turn, you were like, and I was like, it's fine, we've just got in 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, to the laws and stuff, you know, it's just, we'll tell stories along the way, shall we? And don't forget, we've also got other videos, if you want to watch those before. Driving for the first time in America, where Joel pressed both pedals at the same time, hilarious. And then driving in North Carolina, where he left the handbrake on.
Yeah.
So that was just
fun.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, why is the car not?
Why is it not accelerating?
Very quickly.
Also, we have memberships on this channel for 99 cents per month, and on those members only videos that are exclusive to our members, there's quite a few driving vlogs, mainly from when we were in Florida.
Yes.
And we would just set the camera up as we were driving somewhere and having chats. So if you'd like some carpool chat sort of videos,
love them.
Then check out our memberships, because it is just 99 cents per month.
They're just more relaxing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just driving and chatting. Something nice about it. Okay.
The first law, we should get the obvious one out of the way, because we're not going to talk much about this because it's obvious.
Yeah.
We drive on a different side of the road to in America, and in fact, people tend to think, some Americans that have never been to Europe, that Europe drive on a different side to America, but it's not. It's literally, it's like 3 countries in the world drive on the left-hand side of the road: the UK,
Japan,
Australia,
I think,
and somewhere else. But
I think it's Japan. The only story I have to bring up is me, my dad, and brother traveling around Europe, driving into Heathrow and renting a car there. So it was like, we rent a car in Heathrow. I think it was Audi, you know, just a sedan. And so it was, our dad was driving. I didn't even trust myself, right? So it's like, we had to get the car in Heathrow in the UK, so the steering wheel was on the right-hand side of the car, where we usually think of as the left hand. And so we're on the right-hand side of the car, and then driving in England on the left side of the road. And that was confusing and kind of scary. And then we went through the channel, the channel tunnel on the car into Europe, mainland Europe, France, and then other places, where then we switched to the right hand side of the road, but with the steering wheel still on the right hand side of the car. So it was like a double confusion there.
Everywhere in Europe drives on the right-hand side of the road, just like America.
That's
and
crazy.
Americans often get that wrong.
That's so we are the minority.
We're in the minority. Like, it's so weird. It's a handful of countries.
It's like with the metric system.
countries that drive on the left, like the UK.
Luckily,
Country
I was luckily driving my grandma around in Cyprus, and we drove on the left.
Yeah.
Oh, question. What about Ireland? Does Ireland drive on the left or right?
UK side.
On the UK side?
Yeah.
Cyprus is UK.
So it's fine. I didn't have to do anything. All I had to do was deal with the drivers over there.
Yeah.
And I was fine.
Well, Cyprus has British territory, right?
Crazy.
Aren't they?
Well, I'm talking about continental Europe. They're mental.
They just take risks.
Yeah.
And it's really scary. Like, we get lots and lots of roundabouts, or as Americans call them,
Traffic circles.
traffic circles. And people just jump out.
No, we call them roundabouts. I've never heard traffic circle.
As Americans call them,
Traffic circles.
traffic circles. And people just jump out at you, like they just don't leave enough space.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to do another video which is all about lingo, but for this video we're going to talk a little bit about some of the rules of driving, some of our experiences, well, what Joel has experienced in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and you as a passenger.
And me as a passenger.
So what's the first one, aside from the driving on the different sides, what's the first one?
So it's to do with handheld devices. So in the UK, it is absolutely illegal to be on your phone or on any handheld device whilst you're driving.
Even if it's put up on the windscreen, if you're like tapping it,
it's totally
still illegal.
not okay. Yeah. So when, I don't know if this happens on like iPhones in the US, but on my UK iPhone, when I'm in the car, if I try and open the iPhone, a warning thing comes up that says I'm not driving. You have to then click yes, I'm not driving.
Oh, wow.
So say like my phone's connected, we're in the car, I'm not driving, someone else is driving, I'm unlocking it and saying I'm not driving.
Because it's,
I feel like I've seen that on my phone like once. I think it might be a feature that you can turn on or off.
senses you moving, it thinks you're driving, but you're like, I'm a passenger.
Yeah, so it has to make you go through that so that if anything happens, you can't blame them, I think.
Interesting. But I've seen it in America, we've both seen it. You drive past someone and they're literally on the phone. They're not even on loudspeaker, they're holding it to their phone, or they're just like texting while they're driving on a freeway going like 70 miles per hour.
It's mind-blowing. Like, how can you be sending texts and stuff and then also like be looking at, it's really hard. And also the panic I would...
No, you shouldn't do that. And if a cop sees you doing that, he's gonna pull you over. As far as talking on the phone, I'm not sure, but I know in New York City when I was in college, it was St. John's University. I remember one time where I wasn't texting, but I was talking on my phone while I was driving, and a cop like was pulled up right next to me, like still on the road. He didn't pull me over. And he looked at me and he's like, hey, put the phone, like, he said whatever hand gesture of like, put the phone down. And I did. And I turned it off. And then I was like, yep, all right. And then I was free to go.
Feel here.
Yeah.
Like, if a police looking at, it's really hard. And also the panic I would feel here.
Yeah.
Like, if a police saw me or...
Oh my gosh, you go to prison.
You would.
It's honestly not worth it, because I remember in the UK, there was huge campaigns of like, don't text and drive, and they had literally interviews on TV with people someone who'd been like charged with texting and driving, and someone who had lost a family or friend member due to someone hitting someone, and that has always stayed with me. And now I'm like, yeah, it's absolutely not worth the risk.
Yeah, of like killing yourself or someone else.
To send a text message or to have a phone call, like obviously I have phone calls, but through the Bluetooth car system. Yeah. I'm like, it's not worth it.
It's just not worth it, is it?
What text is that important?
You just don't know, like someone in front of you could be slowing down, but you're going at the same speed, and then you look up and you're like right next to it. It's just too stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to give advice to texting and driving. I don't do it often, but like, if I have to look at something quick and I'm not on the highway, like you might think it's like it's more obvious for people to see you, but if you at least like put your phone like up above your steering wheel on level, that way, I'm saying if you're gonna text and drive, please don't. At least don't put the phone like down here where you gotta do this. At the very least, if you're gonna do it, like put it at level with your looking out the window level, and always be looking in front of you so that you can see that. I mean, don't text at all.
On this website here called Go World Travel, it says that
My
the
neck.
rules of the road in America regarding handheld devices devices are different depending on the state.
Yep.
So this is
Yep. Okay. So handheld, I think in many states, if they see you just talking on the phone, I don't think you're going to get pulled over. But in any state, if you're texting and they catch you, I think they will pull you over. But like, for instance, I've never had a cop outside of New York, anywhere in New England, like say like, hey, stop talking on the phone. But in New York City, I have had that happen. So state to state might be different.
It's just something worth noting in case you're watching this and you're in America and you're like, no, it's the same here. We're absolutely not allowed. So yeah, it's illegal to use handheld device while driving in most states.
Okay.
But you know, in other places, it's absolutely fine.
Well, maybe you guys can let us know down in the comments now if it's legal in your what state you're from, and if it's legal or illegal in your state. It'd be interesting to know.
It's just interesting because I know that Americans like drive for a long period of time, and then if they're going into another state and they've driven and they've got to now be under the rules of that state. Surely they can't just be like, oh no, where I'm from, this is fine.
Also, I just think it's so weird. Like there are some states that it's like us illegal that it should be. There are still some states that are like, no, it's fine. You're like, how is it fine?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, texting, I think, is not fine in any state. But as terms of talking on the phone, and to be honest, I don't think that talking on the phone like this and talking on the phone on Bluetooth are any more or less distracting. I feel like most people drive with one hand to begin with. And so the only distraction you're going to have is the voice and conversation, which you're also going to have in Bluetooth. Tell me if I'm being an idiot.
Crazy. Okay, so the next one is all to do with seatbelts.
Yes.
I feel like it's just all we hear over here. Seatbelt, seatbelt, seatbelt.
It's like the classic go-to mum thing when you get in the car, they're like, seatbelts, everyone seatbelts.
It's interesting because I feel like in some European countries, like if you're in the back, you just don't wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you hear it more and more. Like I've had to say to like my Greek cousins, I'm like, put your seatbelt on in the back. Like I'm in the back. I'm like, you still need the seatbelt here.
And isn't it weird that seatbelts weren't a thing at one stage? It was like they were added to cars.
For safety.
For safety, but
on to America, before we finish slagging off Europe, there's not illegal in every state.
No, that's
to not wear the seatbelt.
So what was the example that they gave?
It says here,
New Hampshire is the only state that doesn't require any adults to wear seatbelts at all.
Okay, so like seatbelts. The thing, it's like if you want to risk your life dying very more likely without wearing a seatbelt, I'm like, okay, that's you, I guess. But if you're not wearing a seatbelt and then you get in an accident and you fly through the windshield and like then you're forcing officers and cleanup crew to clean up your freaking brains, like your brains and shit, like that is scarring. And it's like you're being so selfish by not wearing a seatbelt because you're forcing people to scoop up your obliterated body and head off of the pavement, and that is scarring. Okay, so it's selfish in that aspect. And two, have you ever seen a video of what it looks like, not even in a high-speed crash, even in the back seat, of when you don't have a seatbelt on? Like, do you see what happens? I'm not saying you fly through the windshield. I'm saying that, like, your head is going to go 60 miles an hour into the side of the thing. Like, you are going to get tossed like a rag doll. I want to pull up a video of just like, boom, boom. Your head is going to fly into the side of the car, fly back. And it's like, I never don't wear a seatbelt.
They do not have legislation in place.
That's mental.
That's crazy,
So if you're from New Hampshire, do you just not wear a seatbelt, or are you like, well, the seatbelt's there, I might as well? Because I just think, well, it's there.
Might as well use it. Bluetooth audio, might as well use it. Open air top, might as well use it.
Might as well use these features.
Use the features.
Oh my gosh. I know that in the UK, there's something like, if you are under a certain age, then if you're caught not wearing a seatbelt by the police, then the person driving is responsible for you, and they will get get fined, obviously, because it's a child. So I remember that when I was younger, like, I don't know, older people who were driving with their parents, aunties, uncles, whatever, would be like, put your seatbelt on because I'll be the one that goes to prison if you don't wear one.
Yeah, I remember hearing that too. So I'd like to know if that is true, or if they just said that to us so we were like, don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine that they're the responsible one if you're the kid.
Yeah.
And it says here that there's something to do with enforcement, to do with being pulled over by a police car in America. If a police car is suspicious that you're not wearing, if a policeman is suspicious you're not wearing a seatbelt, they have the right to just pull you over if they can see like the seatbelt's not in use or they think it might not be in use.
Yeah. But then they said that there's something like secondary enforcement where they can only bring you charges of not wearing a seatbelt if they first stop you for something else. So they would need, the police would need to pull you over for a broken tail light, and then they also weren't wearing a seatbelt, but they can't just do seatbelt. Or
I think they can just do seatbelt. I think. All right, I might be wrong, but I believe just like with texting and driving, if they see you texting and driving or see you without a seatbelt, I think they both are cause for it pulling over without something else.
something. It sounds very odd.
So like you're getting pulled over for another offence, but while we're there, we had the seatbelt on as well because you've broken that as well.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not sure, but I don't think that's true. I think they can pull you over just if they see you not wearing a seatbelt.
Another driving law, which I don't know is on the list.
Let me know if I'm wrong, if anyone knows.
Is in fact true. Is that in America you are not allowed alcohol in the car. It has to be in the trunk.
Oh, memory.
And it has to be in a brown paper bag.
Again, I don't think that's true, at least not where I live. You can't have an open container. You cannot have an open container. I believe you can have alcohol wherever in the car you want, as long as none of it is opened. You know?
Oh my gosh, so we were, you were leaving Allgreen. Where were we leaving? From a random supermarket. First night of America. First night
like
of...
it needs to be in a paper bag. I don't think that's a law anywhere.
Florida. Yeah. And Joel was like, we can't have this in the car. And I was like, we've just bought it. You were like, hide it in the trunk. And I was like, really? It's just booze from the supermarket. Like, it's not open.
No, I think that's overreacting.
It's in the plastic bag.
That's what I find baffling about it, is that it's
booze
like,
in the supermarket?
It's not open. It's in the... I was like, really? It's just booze from the supermarket.
Yeah, so you can't... Rhode Island is pretty strict in regard to other states on alcohol, by the way. Like, there's no buying... The only places you can buy alcohol is in liquor stores. Not in McDonald's in some, like, European countries I know. Like, French McDonald's, like, sold Heineken, I remember, to us. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, like, you can't buy it in a Walmart. You can't buy it in a supermarket. You can't buy it in a gas station. It is a legit liquor store. Is the only place that sells it.
Like, it's not open. It's in the plastic bag.
That's what I find baffling.
Obviously, other than, like, restaurants, okay? I'm pausing a lot.
It's from the supermarket. Like, it's not open. It's in the plastic bag.
That's what I find baffling about it, is that it's like, if someone pulled us over, they'd be able to tell if you were drinking it or not, because it's not even open. It's like the seal is still sealed. But apparently, I think you have to put them in the trunk just so there's no question of, like, of course I'm not drinking it because it's in the trunk.
Okay.
And in terms of bags, it has to be in an opaque bag, I think for the kids, so that the kids can't see alcohol.
So funny.
I don't think that's true. It might be in other states, I don't know, but that's certainly never a thing that I believe you have to do.
It has to be in an
It's just, if it's open, you're screwed. If it's unopened, you're fine.
bag. I'd be interested to know in the comments if you guys know if that's state by state or if that's everywhere. This is so interesting because it's like when we did those laws ages ago where we spoke about laws that just haven't been removed, that just still actually exist.
Yeah, old laws. And I think that some of those old laws as well, this isn't about roads, but about the separate liquor store to the supermarket. I think now some American supermarkets do sell alcohol in the store.
Wow.
But that's why for ages they kept them separate. So, and some still are, where you have to
Not Rhode Island.
go to a
Liquor
booze
store.
shop, a bottle-o.
A bottle-o.
And then
Bottle-o.
I love that.
That's Australian, right?
Yeah,
Bottle-o.
Bottle-o.
Love it. I think there might be one more law that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Here we go. It's the most spoken about one, I feel like, online. It's the minimum driving age. We find it absolutely mind-blowing
16?
that in some states in America you could be as young as 14 and be legally behind a wheel
No. Oh, no, sorry. Driving age especially. Oh my god, they're right. 14. Why do they have to be such similar ones? So Alaska is at 14. So this color is 14. So Alaska, Arkansas, Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota are 14. Yeah, I see. I'm in the dark green. You got to be 16 here. Maybe I'm guessing it's because it could be other reasons, but because I mean you're out in the middle of nowhere in these states: Iowa, Nebraska, Arkansas, sort of south of North Dakota, Alaska. So I guess it's easier, but like there's no way a 14-year-old should be able to drive in New York City. If you can drive in New York City, you can drive anywhere in the US, okay? But yeah, Rhode Island, 16. 16. Shoot.
Car driving
A 14-year-old behind a giant SUV. That's ridiculous.
Having like a license and having a permit and driving, that's crazy.
It's 18 for you guys?
We say to each other when we're driving and one of us is panicking, it's like, look, if I thought it was 15. I was like, if a 15-year-old can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, it doesn't specifically say here that, like, it says permit holders 14, be driving but 15.
Okay.
That's still crazy.
I think here it's permit holder like late 15 and then you can drive 16.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet they won't let kids drink until they're 21.
I know.
It's like,
that's what's weird.
Sorry, what's more dangerous? I know some people have split opinions on that, but I'm like,
a drunk 15-year-old driver would be great.
Rather our laws of like you can drink at 18
yeah.
or actually at any age if you're under adult supervision.
Yeah.
But you can drive from a bit older because, like, sorry, driving a car is so dangerous.
It really is. You can go fast. You can just like.
Yeah.
I don't even know left and right at 14, and I still don't.
She still doesn't, guys.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
I wanted to say.
But you can drive from a bit older.
I think that the European drinking ages. It might not make sense at first for a lot of Americans, but hear me out. I think that having a lower drinking age or lower age drinking culture, if you're even younger than 16 and around parents, I think that could be actually better because over here, I feel like people, it's like, oh, I can't drink till I'm 21. So if you're underage and you get booze, you just want to go all out and you learn poor drinking etiquette and skills. And if you're drinking earlier with your parents, a little more, it's more accepted, and then the drinking age is lower, I feel like kids might learn to be a bit more responsible with drinking, knowing that they're doing it legally, instead of just becoming like drunks at 16, at like 18 or. So I like the drinking age in Europe more than America, even though it's kind of counterintuitive.
Because, like, sorry, driving a car is so dangerous.
It really is. You can go fast, you can just, like...
Yeah.
I don't even know left and right at 14, and I still don't.
She still doesn't, guys.
I have to do this.
Yeah.
Call it. You know what I mean? If anyone's watching this and they've got directional dyslexia, let me know.
Have you thought about getting a tattoo? You could just, instead of really getting small. L and R, you could just get, like, one dot on, like, the right, or the left, so you always know which one, so you look for the dot.
I feel like I have learnt left.
Okay.
And like I start to know left off by heart, but if it.
So then you know right.
If someone says right, I check for the left and then go opposite to it.
Okay.
I feel like you got it down. If you know left, it's like, okay, right, it's not the one. So boom.
Okay. So I was going to say, it's only 50-50. Right. So if you know left, then you know right.
No, that doesn't work like that for dyslexia. Okay.
Sorry, guys. I didn't. The ending was messed up here, but I'm okay until here.
Right?
No.
So if you read about it online. online, no matter how many times you do something, you can't just left and right. Like, you can talk about other things in life. There's other things in my life done really well at, but left and right, it doesn't go in. It just won't go in. And this has nothing to do with state laws. This is to do with the laws of my brain. And right and left, they just don't go in.
We can be staying in an Airbnb for a whole week.
Yeah.
And we know when we get out the lift, you turn right, and Leah will get out the lift and walk left. And I'm like, where are you going? And she's like, home. And I'm like, it's this way.
It's directional. It's really, really bad. And like, I feel even if I try very, very, very hard at it, there's been no improvement. But when I was a kid, I didn't know this was a problem. I've only realised it's a problem now later in life, where people are like, how can you not do this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, even if I try very hard, I can't. It's bizarre. Some people are like limiting belief, and I'm like, no, disability.
Disability.
I actually am looking into just like getting some sort of badge.
Yeah, a disabled badge for.
Well, I'm not joking.
Directional dyslexia.
Handicap.
If I park somewhere in a car park, I cannot find the car again. But at least if I had.
Imagine parking in handicap parking spots and you have like the handicap pass, and it's because like you're so dyslexic that you'll just never find your car unless it's in those.
I'll probably get cancelled for saying it. But if I parked right outside the front door because I had directional dyslexia, I don't know if that is a disability.
That's why.
I'll find the car.
Hey, I'll do that all the time. Like if I go into like a supermarket or somewhere for like a semi-long period of time, I'll forget, but then I just do the lock. You know how on your car key it has like maybe it's different in Britain, but like do I have my I have a Volvo. Most cars have it, and you just click the lock button, and when you keep click it when the car's already locked, then it'll go like beep beep, and then you just go like, all right, where is it, and then you find it.
I'm gonna get cancelled. I'm gonna get cancelled for saying that.
Yeah, but it's okay. No one can cancel you. You're like a cockroach.
I can't cancel me.
This is another road thing that's helpful. When you lock an American car, it beeps. And
Exactly.
it's then really helpful because if you lose your car in
Exactly.
you just click it and it will beep,
Beep,
and
beep.
you can just follow the
Of
beep.
course, we can't follow the beep here.
No,
the beep
because they
doesn't
don't
happen.
beep. The beep doesn't exist.
We're a quiet nation.
Yeah.
So do you guys just have keys that are like door keys to start your car, or do you have like I could go downstairs and get it, but it's like a small rectangle like that big. You're like it's like that big, okay? And it has the lock and the unlock button or the alarm or whatever. And so when you click, so do you have the buttons and it just doesn't make noise, or do you just not have the buttons?
It'd be mortifying for your car to beep when you get out of it.
yeah.
Everyone would be like, well, we jump every time it does it.
Yeah.
In America.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Anyway.
Well, that is all of the laws, guys, that we're going to discuss today. We are going to film a video now about the different road lingo, because like roundabout, traffic circle, things like that, because...
Again, traffic circle. I've never heard that before.
That's hilarious to us.
It is absolutely hilarious. We're going to film that right away, so look out for that on our channel. Not sure what order these are going to get posted in. Stay tuned. We've also got memberships if you like bonus content from us.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have spoken about my dyslexia on a members only video.
It's alright, we can go into more detail on members.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We post videos thrice weekly.
And we'll see you in the next one.
See you soon.
Bye.
They seem great. Really nice couple. It's great people. Yeah, I'd be interested, guys, in your comments if you agree, disagree with anything they said or I said, or if you thought that something else should have been included in the list. Let me know. It's a lot of fun. Love seeing your comments. I really do appreciate it, guys. I hope you're all doing well. If you're not, then that sucks for you. Nobody cares. No, if you aren't, then chin up. Emotions are fickle, my friend. You'll be fine the next day. Don't do anything wrong. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye.